Look, we need to talk, and I'm going to be completely direct with you because honestly, your happiness depends on it. There are certain patterns, certain habits that are absolutely deadly to a man's interest. If you keep doing this, he'll lose interest instantly. And trust me, you don't want to find yourself in that position again. If you constantly seek his validation, have you ever felt like a bottomless pit, constantly craving reassurance, compliments, and approval from the man you're with? It's like you can't make a single decision or feel good about yourself unless he's given you the green light. You ask, "Do I look okay?" a dozen times before going out. You constantly fish for compliments, even about things that are undeniably great. You send him texts asking if he's upset, even when there's no indication he is. You need him to confirm your worth, your beauty, your intelligence, your very existence. Here's the harsh truth. When you constantly seek his validation, you're essentially telling him you don't trust your own judgment. You're signaling insecurity. And while a little insecurity is human, an overwhelming need for external validation is a huge turnoff. It's draining. He's not there to be your personal cheerleader 24/7. He's not there to constantly patch up yourself. He wants a partner, an equal, someone who is confident in who they are. Think about it. If you don't believe in your own value, why should he? You're putting all the pressure on him to make you feel good, and that's a burden no one wants to carry. He'll start to see you as a project rather than a person. He'll feel suffocated, and eventually, he'll back away. This isn't a matter of selfishness. It's a matter of self-respect. You need to validate yourself. If you put him on a pedestal and make him your entire world, remember when your life was vibrant and full before he came along. You had your hobbies, your friends, your passions, your goals. Then he entered the picture, and slowly but surely, your entire world started to shrink. Now, every single thought, every decision, every waking moment revolves around him. Your friends complain they never see you. Your hobbies collect dust. Your career goals have taken a back seat. He's the sun, moon, and stars, and you're just orbiting him. This is a massive red flag for both of you. When you make a man your entire world, you're placing an impossible amount of pressure on him. He can't be everything to you. He can't fulfill every single one of your needs and desires. It's an unsustainable dynamic, and frankly, it's not attractive. Men are drawn to women who have a full, rich life. Women who are passionate about things outside of their relationship. When you lose yourself in a relationship, you lose your individuality, and that's what made you interesting in the first place. He'll start to feel like he's responsible for your happiness, and that's a heavy burden to carry. He'll feel smothered, and eventually, he'll look for an escape. Your world needs to be your world, with him as a wonderful, important part of it, not the sole focus. If you're constantly available and drop everything for him, he texts you at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday night asking if you're free. You had plans with your best friend, or you were going to finally tackle that book you've been meaning to read, or maybe you just wanted to relax at home. But without a second thought, you cancel your plans. You drop everything, and you rush to his side, because, well, he asked, and you want to be there for him, always. Here's what you're communicating when you're constantly available. You have no boundaries, your time isn't valuable, and his needs always trump yours. You're essentially telling him that your life is on hold, waiting for his command. While it's good to be flexible and supportive, there's a fine line between being accommodating and being a doormat. When you're constantly available, you become predictable, and quite frankly, a little boring. Men are instinctively drawn to a challenge. They appreciate someone who has their own life, their own commitments, and their own sense of self. If you're always dropping everything, he'll start to take you for granted. He won't have to put in any effort because he knows you'll always be there. Create some healthy boundaries. Let him wonder what you're doing sometimes. Have your own life, and make him fit into it, not the other way around. This isn't about playing games. It's about valuing your own time and space. If you try to fix all his problems or become his emotional ATM, he's having a tough day at work, and you immediately jump into problem-solving mode. You offer unsolicited advice, try to smooth things over for him, or even offer to solve his issues for him. He's stressed about money, and you're pulling out your wallet, ready to help. Even if it means putting yourself in a difficult financial position, you become his therapist, his financial advisor, his personal cheerleader, and his general life preserver. This is a dangerous path. When you constantly try to fix all his problems, you're implicitly telling him that you don't think he's capable of handling them himself. You're taking away his agency and his opportunity to grow. And when you become his emotional ATM, constantly doling out comfort and solutions without him putting in the work, you're creating an unhealthy dependency. He might initially appreciate your help, but over time, he'll start to feel stifled or even resentful. He'll begin to see you as an extension of his problems rather than a source of joy. And you'll become exhausted, drained, and likely resentful yourself. A healthy relationship is about mutual support, not one person constantly bailing out the other. Let him face his own challenges. Be supportive, yes, but don't take on his burdens as your own. He needs to learn to stand on his own 2 feet, and you need to preserve your own energy. If you constantly complain, nag, or criticize, every conversation seems to turn into a litany of complaints about your job, your friends, your family, the weather, even him. You find fault in everything, and nagging becomes your go-to communication style. You criticize his habits, his choices, his appearance. It's like you're constantly looking for something to be unhappy about, and then expressing it vocally. No one wants to be around a constant source of negativity. When you're always complaining, nagging, or criticizing, you become emotionally draining. You suck the joy out of the room. He'll start to dread spending time with you because he knows it's going to involve an endless stream of grievances. He'll feel like he can't do anything right, and eventually, he'll just shut down. A relationship should be a safe, positive space. While it's important to communicate your needs and address issues, there's a huge difference between constructive communication and constant negativity. If you find yourself in this pattern, ask yourself why. Are you genuinely unhappy? Or have you just fallen into a bad habit? Cultivate gratitude. Focus on the positive. Learn to express your concerns calmly and respectfully, rather than through complaints and criticism. Otherwise, he will absolutely, unequivocally lose interest. It's not worth it. If you try to change him or control him, you met him, you liked him, but now you've decided he's not quite perfect. So, you embark on a mission to mold him into your ideal partner. You subtly or not so subtly suggest he change his clothes, his friends, his career, his habits. You try to dictate where he goes, who he sees, and what he does. You become the puppet master, pulling his strings, believing you know what's best for him. Let me be absolutely clear. You cannot and should not try to change a man. When you try to change him, you're telling him that he's not good enough as he is. You're stripping away his autonomy and his individuality. You're essentially saying, I like you, but only if you become someone else. No one wants to feel constantly judged or controlled. Men want to be loved and accepted for who they are, flaws and all. They want to be with someone who respects their choices and their freedom. When you try to control him, he'll feel suffocated and resentful. He'll either rebel or he'll become a shell of himself, and neither outcome is good for a relationship. You fell for him for a reason. If you can't accept him for who he is, then perhaps he's not the right man for you. But don't try to change him. It's a guaranteed interest killer. The takeaway. It all boils down to one critical factor: your sense of self. When you lose your individuality, your boundaries, your self-respect, and your own life outside of the relationship, you become less attractive. You become needy, draining, and ultimately uninteresting. Men are drawn to confidence, independence, and a woman who has a full, vibrant life. They want a partner, not a project or a possession. They want someone who brings joy and positive energy into their life, not someone who constantly needs to be validated, fixed, or entertained. So, let's get this straight. Focus on you. Cultivate your own interests. Nurture your friendships. Pursue your passions. Build your self-esteem from within. Set healthy boundaries. And for the love of all that is good, stop doing these things. Because if you keep doing this, he'll lose interest instantly. And you are worth so much more than that. What do you think? Have you recognized any of these patterns in your own relationships? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights that will transform your love life.